build on the kart reference, we build these portable video game kiosks. We call them go-karts. And
Great one.
yeah, it seemed clever at the time.
Give that guy a raise, was it you?
Hey,
I'll give you a pat on the back for that one as well. Parallax Gaming wasn't having any of it. You could tell that they went back to the drawing board and went over that VOD. We're gonna take a look at this for the first time.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. I haven't seen the finished rendering yet. No way. What? What? I haven't seen this yet.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to episode 8 of Gears Unlimited. We are just 1 week away from Mexico City, and it is set to be one of the craziest Gears of War events that we've ever had. So let's get you guys up to date on everything you've missed so far throughout this week, and we'll get you ready going into week 6 of the Pro League. Now, for the other things you guys missed out on this week, for me, it's all about the series. We had some crazy matchups in week 5 that determined a lot of divisions. So without further ado, let me get you updated. Match number 1, it was Elevate versus Rated R, and we're heading into map 1 Asylum. Coming into this matchup, Elevate was 4-0 and Rated R was 3-1. You heard me talk on the last episode how Rated R, this was their opportunity to steal the top spot from Elevate and prove that they're the new kings of the European region. But in the first one, you see EU's finest off to a hot start, a 4-1 lead. But in the end, it was Elevate's core 3, Phelpsy, Hydrone, Craze. All 3 dropped 40 limbs apiece, and they secured a win in map 1. Now we head over to map number 2 on Bunker, and we'll see if Rated R can force the map number 3. We get off into an early start with Elevate once again 3-1 lead, and on this map it was Krim dominating the home hills on the other end, just controlling the pace, and that was the pace in which Rated R could not break. In the end, it was Elevate who takes the series 2-0, and they stay undefeated in your European Pro League. Now we head into our second matchup of the European Pro League. It's Obey versus Regal Reserve, and we head into map number 1 on District. Now, the last time these two teams played, it was a 5-4, 5-4 victory for Regal Reserve. Close series. We'll see if this one is going to be just as close. And it's looking like it at the start, with Obey getting off to a 2-1 lead. A few rounds passed, and now we're all tied up 3-3. But Cougars and Zorkos has had such a great performance, and they close it out in round 7 and 8. And Regal Reserve, they win first map 5-3. We head over to our second map on Vasgar, and we'll see if Obey can keep it close and force the map number 3. Rounds 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 straight dominated by Regal Reserve, and the Zorkos leading the top of the leaderboard once again with 27 elims and 7 deaths, and he's your MVP for this entire series. Now it's time for our Latin American Pro League updates. Match number 1, Pittsburgh Knights versus Fire and Ice, map 1 on Training Grounds. Over the last few weeks, Fire and Ice have been pretty hot, especially with their win against Estro, putting themselves in this position, striking distance to taking first place in the league as we head into week 6. But in this matchup, they were more cold than hot because Pittsburgh Knights came out swinging 4 rounds in a row. Fire and Ice, they tried to place drop down early to get some type of map control to force the team fights. But in the end, Pittsburgh Knights, playing with their food a little bit, they still close out the map 5-2. Now, we head over to map number 2 on Vasgar. The Knights, they come out rounds 1, 2, 3, and 4. Another 4-round lead. Fire Knights, they get 1 round. In the end, it's Pittsburgh Knights who close out the series and put themselves in a matchup to take first place from a straw as we head into week 6. They got 1 match till Mexico City. Let's see if they can get it. It is East Storm versus Astral. Now East Storm 1-3 at the bottom of the league versus top team Astral. They're 3-1 at the top. And map number 1 showed us why they're the team to beat. Astral, they come out and they take map number 1 5-1. As we head into map number 2, Asylum. Can East Storm bring it back? Can they conjure enough force to take down this powerhouse squad in Estral? The core 3 of East Storm, it was Nero, Shock, and Toxic working together, showing that they've made progress from the last season, and they will not go down without a fight. They take map number 2, 5-3 and set us up for map 3. Can E-Storm get it done? Can they force the upset and give Estro their second loss? Crack has something to say about it. He leads his team down the stretch and they take map number 3 5-1, and Estro stays in the top spot. Now it's time for our North American Pro League updates. Match number 1 is Mazer versus No Mercy Esports. We head into map 1 on Icebound. Now we know that Icebound is going to be Mazer's best map, but it's also No Mercy Esports' best map, so as we're going to see who's going to win. Both teams trade off rounds early on with 1-1 on the scoreboard, but Azuri's, his respawns are way too low in the earlier rounds. In Mazer, they knew to play. Morty, Exclusive, Lava, they lead the pack, 28 eliminations. They pick off on Azuri's early on. In Mazer, they steamroll to a 5-1 victory in map number 1. Now we head over to map number 2 on District. No Mercy Esports come out, they win round number 1. But in the end, on the scoreboard Exclusive, 1 death in the entire matchup, sitting at 16-1. The rest of the team had 4 deaths or less. That's a team effort if you ask me. Mazer, they sit at 4-1 in the Pro League, and No Mercy Esports 0-5. Now we head into our second match of the evening. It was Reciprocity versus Orbit. We head into map number 1 on Training Grounds. Reciprocity, currently the best team in Gears Esports. In Orbit, they're currently sitting at 0-4 in North American Division Alpha. The last time these two teams played was a quick 10-0 in favor of Reciprocity. And folks, this really wasn't any different at all. Map number 1, Powers leads the charge, and Reciprocity, they win 5-1. We head over to map number 2 on Vascar. Powers leads the charge. He goes 26-6, followed up by Kenny 24-9. This was a blowout. 21-1 is the record between these two teams in the Pro League for the winter quarter. Reciprocity, they remain undefeated. Now we're headed into our third match of the evening. It's Hive versus Parallax Gaming. The first time we watched these two teams play, it was a crazy matchup. Parallax Gaming loses 0-2, but each map went to round 9, the max distance, and Hive won it. Now we head on to Bunker, but this is a different showing. Parallax Gaming wasn't having any of it. You could tell that they went back to the drawing board and went over that VOD. Sideshow had had enough. He was 24-3 and an MVP of this 5-0 stomping against Hive. Now we head over to map number 2. Hive, with their undefeated record on the line, can they pull it out? Both these teams keep Asylum close, and we go the distance once again. Folks, it's 4-4. Sideshow, he leads the pack in map number 2 as well, with Lanarchy close behind, but it was a team effort nonetheless, and Parallax Gaming comes together as a unit and breaks Hive undefeated record. Now we head over to our match of the day. It was In-Game versus Rise Nation. Map number 1, Exhibit. The last time these two teams played was on Emergence Day, and it was a close and it was an exciting series. The last time they played on Pro League Live, it was a Rise Nation victory. As you can see early on, both these teams keeping it close, but in rounds 3 and 4, Rise blew some crucial leads, and that sent the momentum in In-Game's favor. In-Game runs away with map number 1, 5-1. Now, we head over to map number 2 on District. Can Rise Nation take that second spot? Folks, this is a money matchup in the Pro League. But Explosives, 42-14. Also Summons, single-digit deaths. In-Game, they end this one with a 2-0 victory. Without further ado, I introduce to you Zach Weigel from Gamers Outreach. Come on over.
Yo,
my
what's up,
man.
boys? How's it going, man?
Going good. Welcome to Gears Unlimited. It's been a
Thanks.
while since I saw you.
Thanks, man. Yeah, it has been a little while. What's going on?
Going good. We got a chance to kick it at the, we was at the 100T party.
Yeah,
the other
100
day,
D's has built this, like, the Cash App compound.
which was
and
super
they're-
nice. Maybe one day we'll get them in Gears Esports. I can dream.
One day that might happen.
Let's tell the audience a little bit about yourself and how did you get into to gaming and Gamers Outreach?
Yeah, so I've been playing video games my whole life. Grew up at a pretty young age. My dad always had computers around the house, and I knew fairly young that I wanted to do something in the video game industry and design games or work in games in some way. When I was young, I started hosting video game tournaments. I was doing it for like kids in my high school. It's a long story, but one of my events ended up getting shut down by a police officer.
What?
Yeah, it's crazy. He thought like video games were corrupting the minds of America's youth.
So he came in flashing that badge, was like, hey, all y'all brains gonna go to mush.
Yeah, I mean, literally.
Unplug these consoles now.
Yeah, man, that was pretty much what happened. But, as a young teenager at the time, growing up especially, there were always these sort of perceptions and negative stereotypes around games, the video game community, and, I had okay grades, played sports, but just so happened that when I went home, I wanted to play video games. And so I was really frustrated that our event been shut down because of somebody's opinion around like what games may or may not be.
Believe me, I understand that opinion wholeheartedly.
I think we as an industry, unfortunately we have to be in a position where we're oftentimes defending what we're not instead of championing what we are.
Yeah.
And that's the position I want to take was, actually I think games can make a tremendous difference. I think the gaming community is capable of doing incredible things. So I started organizing events for charity, and at the time, being a young person, realized like, wow, this is really cool. It's something I want to be involved in and continued on. So that's kind of how Gamers Outreach was started, actually, originally kind of out of a sense of rebellion and realizing the impact games can have.
We're just a few months apart, so we kind of came up in that same area of gaming. And, we were at a few MLG events back in the day.
Yes, dude, the glory days, man.
Yeah, no, man, those were good times. I was with you, being in high school, playing sports, getting my grades. But in the end of the day, it was like when I went home, gaming was my hobby.
At the time, I was like pretty big in Halo. So Halo 2, Halo 3. But I remember meeting, we were just talking about him, Gabe from Insanes.
Yeah, Insane Predator.
Yes, yeah. So I remember meeting him at that event, and he was just like such a chill dude. I got to know the Gears of War community a little bit from that.
To give you guys some context at home as well, Insane Predator was the Gears of War 1 and the Gears of War 2 national champion, with Insanes winning in 2008 and 2009. Super talented, very important member of part of Gears history, I felt like. But yeah, man, those were all great guys. I wish they were still playing to this day.
I know, it's crazy,
because they had an energy and a play style about them that we see, very few in between.
Yeah, and they were super just cool dudes to interact with too. Like in real life, I mean, they were really hospitable and we're just very welcoming, like really open to like talking to other players from like the different disciplines.
And that's the, especially in those days, there was so many players out there at the MLG events, especially different games. It was, Gears and Halo out there. And, I know a lot of the Halo players had a lot of big influence when it came down to kind of Gamers Outreach and how everything started off. And so speaking on that, let's kind of use that as a segue to talk about the start of Gamers Outreach.
Yeah, well, I started hosting this event, Gamers for Giving, and it's basically now, fast forward 12 years, it's a LAN party that helps raise money for the work we do in hospitals. So Gamers Outreach as an organization is a nonprofit that helps bring video games and activity into children's hospitals.
That's awesome.
So we do a lot of work with kids who maybe have had really big surgeries. They can't leave their rooms for long periods of time. They're undergoing treatment, in some cases for many months, and often stuck in one place. And there aren't very many groups thinking about quality of life in hospitals, or if they are, the focus is in sort of different topics. But of course, nowadays, so many kids love playing video games, and we know games are a form of entertainment. But beyond that, they're even an outlet for kids to socialize with their friends when they otherwise, don't have access to those experiences anymore. And we're finding that they actually help with the healthcare process.
Well, most definitely, man. Hey, anytime you can bring a smile, all right?
Yeah, 100%.
A smile is a powerful thing.
Yeah, I mean, it goes even deeper. I mean, we've had instances where maybe a kid was really anxious before a procedure was supposed to happen, and a healthcare professional introduced video games, eased the kid's anxiety. And we had a child who had like a really severe burn on his arm, and every few days nurses were coming in to change out bandages. Someone found out he liked playing Lego Batman, so they like wheeled in one of our gaming carts. They let him play for a little bit, and went from like 6 nurses having to hold this kid down to 2. And we're just finding games across the board, are this incredible tool to help healthcare staff, give kids access to activities when they otherwise can't do anything.
That's so cool.
But also make their jobs easier.
That's so cool. I remember when I was sick in the hospital when I was younger, and I actually remember playing games But I had to go off into a separate room. I had to get out of my bed, and I had to get Will somewhere else, and I had to go play in a separate room. But I can just imagine now just being able to bring that cart to the child. They can play in their own space and just and have a great time.
To build on the cart reference, we build these portable video game kiosks. We call them go-karts. It's just an acronym, Gamers Outreach Cart. And
great one.
Yeah, it seemed clever at the time.
Give that guy a raise, was it you?
Hey,
I'll give you a pat on the back for that one as well.
We started building these portable kiosks. And so each one is equipped with like a monitor, a gaming console, an assortment of video games. And the idea is that if you work in a hospital, you don't necessarily have to know a lot about video games. All you have to know is that you can wheel this cart room to room, plug it into the wall, and kids can have access to gaming. So it's a way to like make games mobile in the hospital.
Can you name off some of the accomplishments in what you guys have achieved over these last few years, especially going through Gamers Outreach?
Yeah, well, so our organization, we support around 200 children's hospitals nationwide.
That's a lot of hospitals, folks. I just want you guys to understand.
Yeah,
that.
It's a pretty good amount. It's crazy. They're actually, collectively in the U.S. alone, there are, thousands of hospitals if you include adult facilities. But then we have a tiny international presence. We're starting to expand a little bit into Canada. We actually have someone who built a gaming cart for a hospital in Italy. There's like a streamer who built some gaming carts for a hospital in Ireland.
So anybody can build these carts. So anybody can help. So what's that process like?
Yeah, totally. Well, we get a lot of support from streamers actually, like people who maybe they stream to their community, or over time they'll just like raise money on social media. There's a few ways to support Gamers Outreach generally. Part one is we are looking for volunteers pretty much at all times. We support all these hospitals around the country. We estimate we're providing between 1.5 to 2 million play sessions each year across all the work we're doing in these hospitals. And we're looking for video game enthusiasts to come into the hospital and volunteer. Sometimes you can have the chance to play games with kids, solve minor tech support issues to kind of help the hospital staff, or even distribute games or help wheel like the gaming carts that we build room to room. We call that Player 2. It's like another program that we have.
That's sick.
And it's kind of an intensive volunteer process for folks who are looking to get involved. And then we built the gaming carts, obviously. And for those particularly, people can actually donate a cart to a hospital of their preference. So if you were to whip up your stream plays, not to put you on the spot here, but maybe you could start a fundraising campaign.
I think I might just have to. I think the Gears of War community is going to have to
100%.
Put together a few carts. Now, you were talking about it. Yes. I was thinking about it, and I'm just saying that, I'm going to have to do this because I think that's so cool.
Yes,
so Gears community.
On the spot.
When I'm streaming, I'm gonna put together the fundraiser to make a cart, and we'll see how many we can make, and we can send over to Gamers Outreach.
That's awesome, man, dude. That's so rad. This is gonna be your fundraising goal. $3,500.
Okay.
That includes the cart, the gaming console. We install a bunch of video games on the device, controllers, monitor. That also includes freight shipping, so we'll ship it to the hospital.
Okay.
We set it up, and then we provide indefinite support. So
That's
if like
sick.
5 years from now the hospital calls us, we basically take some of the money you raise and we hire staff who actually like help support all these facilities that we're working with. So if like a controller breaks or they need help adding more games, we make ourselves available to do that.
And you can do it in any hospital in any state.
Within the U.S., any hospital, yeah.
That's so sick.
Totally.
That's so sick.
And so if there's like a hospital in your backyard that maybe you sort of grew up around or whatnot, we can reach out and build a gaming cart for them.
Yeah, that's really good. Yeah, I'm actually looking forward to that one. And I actually do know which hospital close to me in my area that I'm going to send it to. And it's actually the hospital that I kind of referenced that I was at when I was younger. Because, I'm thinking about it now, and I don't think that they have anything like that there. I come from a small town in Geary, Indiana, so I think they'll definitely appreciate those gaming cards.
Yeah,
so
100%,
we're gonna
man.
see what we can do to make that happen.
Totally, for sure.
I know the Gears community, they love doing good,
Yeah.
and they rally together. That's Gears fam, and I think the Gears fam can come together, and we'll see what we can make happen.
Dude, we're gonna make this happen, man. I was not expecting to get a gaming cart commitment.
Yeah,
That was kind of a random tangent,
I'm
but
definitely
this is
gonna commit
awesome.
to that. Yeah,
Dude, this is great.
No,
Yeah, this is
as I'm
super
ranking
cool.
up and playing Gears,
Nice.
we'll have it up there.
It's one thing for me to say it. Like I'm the video game enthusiast, right?
Yeah.
Like I'm the guy who like played games, but I've been learning about the hospital environment along the way. You really have to hear from the hospital folks. Like they're the ones who would be like, yeah, dude, it's gonna change your world. Yeah,
Oh,
for sure.
I'm so
it's
happy.
super cool to hear the impact that games have.
Yeah, actually, side note, I actually ended up working at this hospital for a few years as a chef.
No way.
Yeah, I was in
What the
culinary.
heck? Yeah, dude, that's wild.
I was in when it was my first job coming out of culinary school.
Yeah.
I was a
You're a
chef.
sous chef?
Yeah, and I was a chef
Yes.
at Methodist Hospital in Geary, Indiana, and so I was working there for a while. And pretty much my job was to either I had to do breakfast, lunch, or dinner, but I fed the entire hospital and entire staff. So it's about 800 people to feed, and you got multiple different food options, and also too, because we know you deal with a lot of restricted diets when you work in the healthcare,
right.
hospitals and nursing homes. And also too, on sometimes, Lord forbid, you sometimes making somebody's last meal. And back then, you know, the food in the healthcare system wasn't as good. So I took a lot of joy in making all these amazing meals.
Oh yeah, man!
for
Nutrition
the
is a
staff
huge part
and
of
for the
somebody's
hospital.
health.
So
Yeah.
that'd be super cool.
Video games are only going to continue to rise. I mean, think about how prevalent technology is in our day-to-day lives. To me, video games speak to this like intrinsic human desire to play. And of course, if we're using these devices, we're going to find a way to play with them.
True.
So that's what video games are to me. Like, they're a form of storytelling, they're a form of engagement. We can like compete and socialize, and so everything that we like to do as people can be done through games.
For me, it's definitely the competing part. You know, being able to compete in esports, to be able to have a team, to be able to come together and work together to get that trophy, get the goal, to beat our opponents. That entire experience is something so fun. As we know that I am going to do the cart, and I am going to build a gaming cart, and the Gears fam is going to help me out. But there's also other ways in which the Gears fam can help. You guys got a skin coming out in the game.
Yes, I heard about this.
Yeah,
it's super exciting.
No, so I just got it here, and you know, we're going to take a look at this for the first time.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. I haven't seen the finished rendering yet. No way. What? What? I haven't seen this yet.
This is super dope. I thought it was just a weapon skin that you guys were getting. I didn't know it was a whole character skin.
Dude, this is like a whole, it's a new rig, man. It's a new outfit. It's actually inspired by one of our volunteers. It goes by Johnny Quad, Josh Marshbanks. He's been volunteering with Gamers Outreach, man, probably like 4 or 5 years now. I feel like I've known him forever. I'll let him talk about
Johnny, the call gear is
100%.
in Gears of War.
Yes.
And folks, you guys can buy that skin, and I'm pretty sure most of those proceeds, if not all those proceeds, are going over to Gamers Outreach.
Super cool. I mean, it's an amazing thing for the Gears community to be able to, support our work that we're doing in hospitals, and for the Gears team to actually like create this in-game item to help us, bring entertainment and activities to kids in hospitals is just like super cool. So yeah, that's gonna have a tremendous impact, we hope. But people gotta get the skin.
They gotta get the skin, guys.
Get the skin. I mean, that's really, it's gonna make a huge difference for the work we're doing.
It is
really, really phenomenal.
It's super awesome the direction which games is winning these days, that we are able to put in-game content to be able to support these charities.
Oh, it's massive. Yeah, huge. I mean, you think about like, this is probably a bigger topic than our scope of what we're discussing, but it's really changing the way companies can get involved and give back,
correct,
and make an impact. And the way I think of it is like, charitable giving for brands is a matter of like bringing your values to life, right? Like as video game enthusiasts, we can make comments about like what we feel is important, but until you really align your actions with what you state are your values, you've not really expressed an identity.
That's so true.
So, yeah, I mean, not to get super deep about it, but I think like.
But no, we get real deep on this show. All right, yeah.
Dude, this is like we're talking some like real life stuff today. But I mean, I think for the Gears team, I've been getting to know you and Rose over the last couple years now, and it's clear that like making an impact is a major priority, and the team is like really getting behind that. So that's when like people are the real.
And I can tell you, as a community member of Gears of War for the last 12 years. The Gears fam is gonna get behind us as well.
100%, man.
That's awesome.
This is awesome.
I'm ready to talk to Johnny.
Okay,
let's get Johnny on the line. Yo, Johnny, you there?
Hey, man. How are you?
Hey, what's up, man? How you doing today?
I'm doing great.
Got Zach on the show here with Gears Unlimited.
Hey, what's up, Johnny? Good to see you.
Good seeing you, Zach.
Firstly, how did you get into working with Gamers Outreach?
Well, it's a bit of a long story. It's I have a spinal cord injury. And that I got injured about 10 years ago. And people saw that I have a great fascination with video games. And so one of the psychologists got me on board, this advisory board, to help make a mobile game for those with spinal cord injuries. And that's out. It's kind of a neat thing. You can go download it right now. It's called SciHard, SCI. Kind kind of like Die Hard. From there, I met someone that was helping get some Xboxes for Gamers Outreach. And through that, I met another gentleman, JJ Boucard, and who invited me to meet Zach. And I showed up about 5 years ago at their Gamers for Giving event. And I've just been helping out ever since, and just wanted to be involved.
That's super cool, man, that you've been able to be involved for this long. And now you got a skin in Gears of War as well, which is going to be doing some more good for the fans and for the kids out there. Zach, when it comes down to you, how has your experience been working with Johnny?
Oh, Johnny's the man. Yeah, he's been super helpful. So Johnny, I'm like singing your praises now here. I mean, I have nothing but good things to say about Johnny. I mean, he's been involved for so long. He's so knowledgeable about our cause, and he helps in all sorts of ways. I mean, we host Gamers for Giving, and he comes out to the event, and he's one of our volunteers on the ground that's like helping to make sure the show is running smoothly.
Johnny, how did you come up with the concept of the skin for Gears?
Well, when I was asked, I was very honored and to do it, and the big thing for it was a lot of the fun things I like in life. So it incorporated some, like I'm a huge Pez dispenser collector.
Is that what the markings were on the skin, on the sides?
Yeah, there was on this pant legs. You'll notice there's some like sprinkles. It looks like sprinkles you put on ice cream, but they're supposed to be the Pez you would eat normally.
Ah, that's creative. Okay.
Yeah.
Looking at the design of the skin, I can definitely see it being used in an esports scene, because I know a lot of our players are going to scoop that one up very, very soon and match it up with some of their weapon skins out there as well. I know I can't wait to get my hands on it. I definitely think the fans are going to be happy with it.
I'm glad. I hope they love it. I hope they sprinkle some bullets on some enemies there.
Hey, there we go. Hit them with little sprinkles with those lancers out there.
When Gamers Outreach asks me to do anything, I pretty much say yes. I just like helping them out. It's kind of been my thing ever since I got injured. I've always wanted to give back to the community in any sort of way. And I found video games to be a great way to do that. I also just been wanting to be part of a huge industry like this ever since I was a kid. You know, video games go back for everyone.
You got your MOBAs, your RPGs, your shooters. It's plenty of different genres, but at the end of the day, we're one big team, and we're gonna do some good out there. We won't have an episode next Friday, and that's because the biggest event of the season is about to go down. It's Gears Mexico. You've heard me say it time and time again. It's like the Super Bowl, and we're gonna have all the best teams all around the world, and one of our spiciest open brackets is gonna be happening as well. Don't forget, 8 of those teams are transitioning over to a single elimination bracket where they get to play all the Pro League teams, and I know some of them, they're pretty scared of those LATAM open bracket teams because they're nothing to mess around with. That's gonna be it for me here at Gears Unlimited. I appreciate you guys watching the show. I hope you guys got all the information you needed. Much love to Zach Weigel and the guys from Gamers Outreach from coming on and just showing us all their love and appreciation for esports and gaming. That's gonna be it for me here at Gears Unlimited. Till next time, I'll see you all after Mexico City.